Hello, everybody. My name is Julie Kurtz. I am the Chief Executive Officer and the founder for the Center for Optimal Brain Integration. Today, I'm going to briefly talk to you about the difference between a social emotional curriculum and a trauma responsive and healing engaged curriculum. A lot of districts and schools ask me, well, why should I send my teacher to both? Doesn't a social emotional curriculum cover everything? It actually does not. Some of the neurobiology of trauma, which is 50% of the children in the United States under the age of 6, by the time children reach 18 years old, 67% of them have been impacted by trauma. So that's one reason that we should send our teachers to a training on trauma. 67% of those adults who are educators and teachers have experienced trauma. But more importantly, a social emotional curriculum usually emphasizes that children have the executive functioning skills and the access in their prefrontal cortex to be able to learn how to identify feelings, build friendship skills, express emotions, and regulate. But a child who's been through trauma literally has, from the constant release of the toxic stress in their body, has rewired their brain and body to be on constant alert, hyper-vigilant, rewired to be in their survival brain the majority of the time. And if you're in your survival brain, you're living in a place called fight, flight, freeze, a place of terror. And that's why a lot of children who've experienced trauma have delays in development. The number one healing strategy for trauma is to learn strategies that will rewire a child's brain to create a sense of safety. Once those children feel safe in your program, then because it calms their sensory response system and the activated stress, they're then able to access the executive part of their brain where they can think, reason, focus, learn, pay attention, follow instructions, remember things, learn the expectations, learn the schedule of the classroom. And we will be able to expand through these trauma responsive strategies, their window of tolerance. So many little adverse things throughout the day don't send them into that hypoarousal freeze or hyperarousal fight or flight. So now more than ever, to complement your social emotional curriculum, learning about the neurobiology of trauma. And even though you don't need to know the history of the child's trauma, watching those consistent challenging behaviors may be a sign that we need to add some additional supports to our toolbox. And learning trauma responsive strategies can help all teachers help children rewire their brain to safety. And I'll end by saying that out of Harvard, they say that children are building between 0 and 6 years old 1 million new neural connections a second. So even if that child is experiencing trauma in their home or toxic stress, when they come to school, a teacher in everyday interactions has the power to rewire a child's brain through nurturing, responsive caregiving, and safe, predictable environments. If you want to learn more about trauma, responsive, and healing engaged strategies, visit our website at www.optimalbrainintegration.com. You can find a lot of resources in addition to our book that is sold on Amazon, which is Trauma-Informed Practices for Early Childhood Educators. I'm Julie Kurtz, and thank you for listening.